Here's 3 key tips that you can consider as you start to look at your teams and make sure they're set up to be future-proofed. At the start of this year, we experienced that a lot of businesses were restructuring their teams to right-size their businesses for the year ahead. However, for many organizations, without significant restructuring, there's an opportunity to look at the design of your teams to make sure that they're set up for sustainable growth. Here's 3 key tips that you can consider as you start to look at your teams and make sure they're set up to be future-proofed. The first is that as teams continue to evolve, one of the emerging trends is that teams are becoming skills-based rather than role-based. So leading organizations are now less focused on job titles and responsibilities, but rather thinking about what skills are needed within the team and hence linking that to responsibilities. What that may mean is that teams are much more nimble and agile, and in many cases are being formed around key projects or key initiatives. The second thing to consider is your strategic plan. So you should now either be midway through your FY26 strategic plan, or maybe you've just started the calendar year 2026 strategic plan. Regardless of where you are, it's absolutely critical that you've got the right structure to set you up to be able to execute on your strategy. This is one of the biggest challenges we see with organizations. All good intention at the start of the year, however, inevitably, business as usual and a reactive culture means that people get pulled away from strategy and into reactive mode. The outcome, you get to the end of the year and the dial hasn't actually shifted. And that's one of the biggest risks for your organization. So the big consideration is to ask yourself, how do I structure my team by allowing the time or the resources for the right people to focus on strategy execution and make sure that we're going to be moving both strategy and business as usual concurrently. The third and the final consideration is to make sure that you've got the right people in your team. The world is changing incredibly quickly, and the skills and the capabilities and the mindsets required to be successful in business are also continuously evolving. There may be people in your teams who were previously right for your team and right for your organization, but they may no longer be the right people. A useful audit you can do is to start to look ahead in the context of your strategy. Ask yourself what the capabilities are that are going to be needed to set you up for sustainable success, and then do an audit of your current team. What all the research is telling us is that there's a handful of key capabilities that are going to be more and more important into the future. Emotional intelligence, adaptability, resilience, and learning ability. There are a few key ones to look at closely. If you're interested in a further discussion around your team structure and making sure that you're set up for growth, please reach out to my team. We would be delighted to have a conversation with you.